Hello, viewers, and welcome back. More Dungeon Darkman time. Oof. I feel like I'm really taking a beating lately. It's all right. We're gonna get there. I'll tell you what. Pretty soon, one way or another, this gameplay is gonna end. I probably don't need that much. Do I want to bring an additional medicinal herb because of the prevalence of fish? Oh, we had to bring bandages. That's right. Yellow Cove missions. The big crab dudes and their arterial pinch. This is a serious concern. I guess we do have a plague doctor. Maybe that's not that important. Yeah, we'll go like this. So, backwards spoilers. I guess. No, wait, is this forward? I don't know what I'm talking about, man. What I was gonna say is, hey guys, in case you don't know, somebody died last mission. Was a dumb death. I made a small error. That definitely happened, but for the most part, I'm not. Man, this is an awkwardly shaped map. I guess we'll go this way since we know for a fact that there is a curio this way nearby. We'll get one of the quest items out of our inventory quickly.
First test. Now it must be carried home.
Yeah, good. Pour some liquid on the thing, it lights up. Perfectly reasonable. Totally normal, nobody freak out. So, that put us at 8 deaths. Now, like I've been saying, I have been avoiding spoilers, but I did watch a couple of people play the final mission. Damn it, only does 2. We had to hit him one more time. It's unfortunate. Oh, you have the wrong skills, Follett. Damn it. Well, she's not going to have her stun. We're going to have to re-equip her a little bit. This is the new Vestal. Right off of the wagon. Oh, the combos. What was I saying? I don't remember.
Destroy them all.
It can't have been terribly important. The point is, I feel like we've been getting some pretty rough beats. For sure. It's just sort of the nature of things. You're gonna have those periods of variance. Oh, what I was saying. I totally remember now. I saw a couple of people do the last mission. And the you get to have your things changed. And the come unto your maker ability from the last boss appears to always occur twice during the fight, which means that you're guaranteed to have 2 deaths.
Awarded to the brave and the foolhardy alike.
Which potentially means that you have to go into the final mission. I'm not sure how the game loss conditions are calculated, but potentially that means that you have to go into the final mission more than 2 deaths under the death limit. And also, I don't know if deaths 13 of 13 on the graveyard means that you lose immediately when a 13th death happens, or if you're allowed to have 13 deaths and then you've used 13 of the 13 deaths you're allowed to use, and then the next death triggers game loss. So this game could be a lot clearer about stuff.
Annihilated.
By the way, did you notice the both of the Fusiliers went before the higher speed Plague Doctor, just to ensure that they'd both be able to get a move off before being blighted.
As the fiend falls, a faint hope blossoms.
So, the point that I'm making is I don't actually know how many deaths we have available. It may be the case that we can only have 2 more deaths. Yeah. It may be the case that we can only afford to have 2 more deaths, or we'll lose. We'll lose if we get more than that. So basically, what we're hoping here is that nobody in the party dies ever again. Isn't your speed 1? Why are you always before her? Alright, well, we're healing the Plague Doctor. It's happening, so... We're not actually all the appropriate level. Yes, congratulations, you're an asshole. And now we all heal the Plague Doctor again. He just gets to bleed to death. We're gonna watch him bleed to death. Well, no.
Their formation is broken. Maintain the offensive.
We don't really need heirlooms. Okay, a secret door. Pretty great. It's a little earlier than I would like. Alright, we definitely are not going to hit it on the way there, though. We'll hit it on the way back. Everyone in my parties is,
Treasure could staunch the flow of otherworldly corruption.
Everyone in my parties is completely afflicted. Nope. Darn it. No. That is not what I was trying to do. I was trying to go through this door. Game is really fighting me. Look at that. 1 anti-venom put to actual use. I'm not going to light up. We're going to just do this in the dark because I'm trying to maintain... Alright, good work. Trying to maintain my light level at least a little bit. Alright, this slug guy is dead for. Dead for? Done for. Good enough. He should definitely have uppercut equipped, though. And I'm pretty sure I leveled it up, too. Alright. Well, if he takes his turn before we get to him, we know at least that it will be his last. I guess he has a heal. He could cast his heal on himself, and that would make that not true. Nope, he chooses to spitefully inflict stress damage rather than trying to survive.
Singular strike.
That's pretty alright, considering the guy has 50% prot. Resist? Nope. Well, at least the Plague Doctor has something productive to do.
That cuts on its own.
Not that shanking this guy wouldn't have been productive. Hey, max damage. Nice. Every time I see that first resist, I'm like, yeah, good job. But it's the debuff, not the actual bleed.
Devastating blow.
I don't particularly like using the Plague Doctor's healing ability on the Plague Doctor. It feels a little bit wasteful. When you can always battlefield medicine somebody else and clear your blood. But basically what that is, or clear your bleed. But basically what that is that's called fancy play syndrome. You're so interested in doing an unusual thing that you make mistakes for no real reason. You make mistakes from which you do not gain just so that you can be a little fancier. It is a bad thing. Ugh. It didn't say there was going to be a battle, so I just hoped that there wasn't going to be one. Alright. Well, that was pretty good. The wide mouth was by far the most dangerous of the enemies there. These guys really aren't that bad. It's just that they make people who are that bad survive. It's really their major danger. Okay, spreading out the stress. Poor Durandal's taking an awful lot. Sure wish this knife reached a little further back. Well, okay. Made that plague grenade a little superfluous. These high prot compositions are becoming a bit of an issue for us.
Such a terrible assault cannot be left unanswered.
Alright, well at least the bleed stuck. That's good. The stun was necessary to remove the bleed, or the guard. I'm looking at the blood droplet while I'm talking. I can see that they're just going to be super annoying this whole battle. Alright. 3. Just have too much prot, man. So, if we get through this mission, we're sort of past the hump. There's a weird discontinuity that I sort of knew about, but I got to really see the extent of it when I was plotting out how many missions it would take at the various levels to level up, when I was sort of doing that napkin math on what the expected number of weeks to clear the game was. And what I found was that, for some reason...
Or the slightest lapse in concentration.
Yeah, me getting crit is not a lapse in concentration, Wayne. I have literally no interaction with that mechanic. There's nothing I could have done. What I found was that it takes a really, like, a weirdly long time to get through levels 1 and 2. Way, way, way more missions at those levels than at any other. I mean, in almost all situations, it takes only a single mission to move from 5 to 6. Now, you could say that that's because of... that's because of the fact that there's not a real difference between 5 and 6, and that if it took a long time, nobody would bother. Because becoming level 6 doesn't add to your ability to wear armor, or hold weapons, or have your skills trained higher or anything. The only thing it adds is 10% to each of your resistances. It's not terribly compelling, I get that.
But a victory nonetheless.
But you know, why does it take more missions to get through levels 1 and 2 than it does to get through levels 3 and 4? It just seems strange. Pardon me. Apparently I have the hiccups. Alright, so we will camp in this upcoming room here.
Huddled together, furtive and vulnerable. Rats in a maze.
Alright, we have only one nighttime ambush prevention skill. And that's not it. That's prey. I didn't actually check her skills. I just kind of assumed she would have it. And then I clicked the thing that looked like it, even though it's not it. Okay, so we just don't have an ambush prevention skill. That's pretty great. Well, we're going to do this because we need to get that stress level down. And that leaves us with 3 time units. So we could remove... nobody here has any crippling diseases, I think. So we have Bless. Scout ahead or self-medicate. I think I'm going to go self-medicate just because it helps me to control my stress while still being a buff. And then we're going to hope to not get a nighttime ambush. Alright, good luck for us. Alright. Now let's see about opening this thing. What can we drop? Honestly, I don't think we need the holy water. Alright, so we just have to find one more of these protective wards. Then we can get the hell out of here. I'm curious how they dragged that. That was a whole whale, right? Like, it was cut open and stuff. But that was like the entire structure of a whale. Here's another one. How are they... Oop, just hitting the microphone like a total professional. How are they just dragging... These fishermen do not look that strong. How are they dragging these whales around, getting them up in here? Perhaps we're meant to infer the presence of a greater horror that's helping them drag whales around. Because it's bored, I guess? Yeah, unfortunately we don't know which way to go at this fork either. Obviously we'll head to the right first since it's a shorter path.
Packs laden with loot are often low on supplies.
The game is determined not to let my torch supply drop below 8, which I do appreciate.
Glittering gold, trinkets and baubles, paid for in blood.
This mission's already a success because secret room. But I suppose it could be turned into not a success by having a bunch of people die. So maybe let's not count our chickens just yet. Kind of a weird phrase, really. Oh. 1 point of blight short. If only this plague doctor was 1 level higher. Okay, well now they're both just slightly out of range of dying in a single tick. So I guess we'll see how the beginning of this turn goes. Okay, we do get a chance to maybe inflict a little bit more damage. Excellent. Alright, he's gonna need some medical attention.
This is how a life is taken.
So, the thing that happened to our poor Hellion last mission. There's a question to be asked about whether that kind of thing should be able to happen, whether that kind of thing should be a possibility. I have said before, and I maintain, wow. 3 damage through the, because he has 75% prot. That's rough. Is it okay for a character to die? She was basically at full, right? I'm pretty sure. Is it okay for a character to die in the space of 3 actions? Should your game be designed in a way that prevents that from ever being able to happen? I don't necessarily think that it is a bad thing that a character can die so quickly. Especially in sort of the core game of Darkest Dungeon, the normal mode. I don't really think it's a problem. 85% versus 169%. There's actually a pretty good chance of this stunning blow working. We only have like an 80% stun chance there. But I don't think it's necessarily the case that it should never be possible for one of your characters to die from full health before you can prevent it. But I do think that if you're going to allow that sort of thing in your game, you have to not maybe have a death counter. Because what you've done there is you've gone quite a ways out of your way to make it possible for your player to have just like a really crappy experience. I certainly would not be happy if I lost several characters in that way. I probably should have been on him because it would have also prevented 4 bleed damage. If I lost several characters in that way, where basically the randomness of the initiative system caused them to die, I'd be pretty annoyed. I'd be pretty annoyed if the number of people I lost in that way caused me to lose the game on hard mode, which is totally a possibility. Okay, well, there's no quest location over here, but I do love loot. So we are actually going to go to this first room.
A fortune waiting to be spent.
And then we're going to poke our head into the hallway beyond one space and get that curio as well. Alright, maybe the game doesn't like it when I go in non-essential directions.
Well performed.
All of a sudden, my people are hungry. No, I just got her patched up, you monster. Basically, I think that I've probably made this pretty clear, especially by the fact that I've done over 100 episodes of this game on my YouTube channel. But I think that the base game's variance actually makes for a pretty compelling experience. I just wish they'd tone it down a little bit for hard mode, you know. Maybe they could increase the difficulty, but decrease the variance. I think. Yeah, not a bad hit. You know what I mean? Increase the difficulty, but decrease the variance so that on average you're taking more damage, on average you're taking more stress than on normal mode. But it's predictable enough that you can sort of get through it. I don't know. It's sort of a big deal, in my opinion, if you end up losing the whole game due to a few bouts of bad variance, because you can end up spending a lot of hours. You know what I mean? This is going to be episode, what, 39? And most of those episodes haven't been an hour long, but most of them have been more than half. But even let's say they were half, and it took me only a couple more episodes. Very few people can hit back there, so I just want to make sure we get lethal on him. But let's say each of the episodes only took half an hour, and there aren't really that many more episodes left. That's still 20 hours of gameplay, right? That's almost where we are now. Actually, use this himself. It would be a bummer to lose all that work. Frustrating.
Foolish horrors, brought low and driven into the mud.
I think at this point we're going to do that. I don't see the last quest location, do I? No. So it could be behind a thing, behind a blockage, which means I probably should not shovel this open. Ooh. Okay, who has an ugly quirk? Thanatophobia is not very good for someone to have. Dud hitter's alright, I guess. Damage on the first round isn't the biggest deal there. Let's try to get Stress Eater purged. I think that one's a real bummer. Also, it's one of the few, one of the negative quirks that actually does affect us on the Darkest Dungeon. I started to say few. That's not the case. There are actually several. There are a lot of trinkets that affect your... trinkets. There are a lot of traits that affect your prowess, in particular dungeons, that obviously are not relevant to the Darkest Dungeon. There are a number of quirks that cause you to interact with things when you would rather not interact with things, or when you would rather use an item to interact with things. Obviously, those don't do anything in the Darkest Dungeon. I think we're slightly more likely to get value out of the medicinal herbs than out of the key. Maybe that's not actually true. But, you know, there's lots of bloated fish in here. Of course, it's the guy who already has no stress who is in a good position to disarm the bomb. I think for the most part you get the brackish water makes you ill thing when you don't have the right resource to use on that. So we're not going to bother. We don't need this dungeon to go any worse. Right, screw these zombies. Let's make absolutely sure we kill that thing in the first round. Okay. And then the shocker guy is not terribly dangerous. The jellyfish, he's just sort of exists to make your life a little annoying with the stuns. That was a good crit. I was about to try to make a joke about sales papers or newspapers. There's something there, right?
Destroyed.
But then I realized that if you are my audience, if you are watching video games on YouTube,
Creatures can be felled. They can be beaten.
there's a pretty good chance that you don't know what a newspaper is. You never had to experience one. Sometimes I really do feel like an old man. So we ended up having to explore basically the entire dungeon. This was not my intent. Oh, are we gonna have to actually go all the way to the last room? The last hallway, at least. It may well turn out to be the last room. Ooh, failed to disarm.
Mechanical hazards possessed by evil intent.
Well, sadly, due to our number of hunger events, we cannot afford to, Okay, there's the last one. We cannot afford to heal our bounty hunter out of combat. Alright, there you go. So now the question is, do I want to go forth and have the final battle? And I think the answer is yes.
As the light gains purchase, spirits are lifted, and purpose is made clear.
Okay, it turns out that the key would have been valuable. That's a shame. But, you know, I think I made the reasonable decision with the information I had. Screw this guy. I'm trying something here because it's so close to the end of the dungeon, and it wouldn't be the end of the world if that guy ended up going off, because we just have to get through the rest of this combat. I decided to focus up on the more dangerous people. Certainly, if the drowned corpse guy had gotten off a revenge, the fact that these guys can attack would have been relevant. So possibly I should have focused on the corpse first. But things did work out in the end. Here we managed to get all of the dangerous enemies dealt with pretty quickly before the end of round 2. Of course, you should never say that a plan was good because it worked. You should not be results focused in that way. There are lots of other factors to consider. Here we're just fishing for a crit to reduce stress, since the fight is now over. And here we'll get a last blow, a killing blow, in the hopes of relieving a small amount of stress. Did not work, apparently.
Victories mount, so too will resistance.
Well, ain't that just typical? The important part is we completed the quest, we got XP, we made some money, and nobody on our team even died. If you can believe it. So yeah, that's not a bad haul at all. A little over 20k in gold. Plus, we're probably selling that life crystal if we get low on gold again. I don't think we need a life crystal. Alright, everybody's up into the green levels. Malvison still has the Ancestor's Portrait equipped. Still, at this point, he actually has surpassed Watered now. That's good for him.
In time, you will know the tragic extent
good work,
of my
guys.
failings.
You can see we're still way under the time limit. I estimate... Honestly, I think we can get this done pretty quickly. Before the end of next week. Provided, of course, no more major screw-ups that require us to go back to the, back to training new talent. Speaking of new talent. Nope, no level 3s. Alright, well that's going to be it for this episode of Darkest Dungeon. Did we unlock, we did unlock a new boss in the Cove by doing that. Siren's not a very good boss. We might actually be able to do this. I'll consider it. Come back next time for more monster killing, probably more party dying. It's going to suck and be terrible and be awesome all at the same time. And we'll see you then.